British police say they think they know the identity of the man behind that deadly terror attack from yesterday, Wednesday afternoon. But the Metropolitan Police Scotland Yard are not naming him yet. The front pages, though, of British newspapers, as you'd imagine, are plastered with headlines about the attack, which of course left 4 people dead and at least 40 others wounded. Many of the wounded still being treated in hospitals in and around the city, and we'll update you as soon as we have any more details on their condition. The Prime Minister, Theresa May, called the attack sick and depraved and says, quote, "We will never allow evil to drive us apart." Well, with that in mind, joining me now from Williamsburg, Virginia, former Scotland Yard officer Carlton King, from Tokyo, International Security Director for the Asia Pacific Foundation, Sajjan Gohel, and from Los Angeles, CNN law enforcement contributor Steve Moore. Gentlemen, welcome to you all. Thanks for joining us on the programme. Carlton, if I can come to you first with your unique perspective, of course, of knowing the ins and outs of Scotland Yard and the Metropolitan Police Force. This is a force which has lost one of its own in this terror attack. But given the fact that they were on the scene very quickly in the immediate aftermath, how do you gauge the response from the police in London?
Yeah, first and foremost, what I'd like to say is that I'm sorry to hear of the death of a colleague, and of course the other individuals who also died or have been injured. I think that the Met obviously have statutory posts there, so officers are stationed there all the time, and especially on the entry point. So in that sense, obviously officers were there very, very quickly. The one problem is, however, is that we still have this situation whereby we have a lot of unarmed officers. In fact, 93% of Metropolitan Police officers and probably about 96% of officers throughout the United Kingdom, with the exception of Northern Ireland, where every officer is armed, are unarmed in our country. And that is a problem, especially when trying to deal with this self-sacrifice terrorism that's going on. So yes, they were on scene, but unfortunately were unable to carry out any action by themselves. It just happened to be that 2 officers from the protection unit, of which I used to be part, who were protecting individuals there, happened to be on scene and dealt with the incident. But that shouldn't be the case, really.
Yeah. Carl, interesting you say that about the firearms, of course, because one of the reasons you could argue that there haven't been more incidents like this in London, in the UK, is because we do have different firearms laws over here than, say, in the United States, for example. But I want to bring in now Sajjan Gohel, who's in Tokyo for us. Sajjan, the international response has been very quick. We heard in the short term from Nicola Sturgeon, the Scottish First Minister. We've also heard from President Trump and from the French Prime Minister as well. Lots of words of resolve, of support. But when do those words turn into action, and what might that action be from the international community?
Well, one of the problems is the type of attack. You're looking at the 4th incident in 8 months where a vehicle has been turned into a lethal weapon to mow down people. It started with the Bastille Day attacks in Nice last year. There was the incident at Ohio State University, followed by the attack at the Christmas marketplace in Berlin, and now tragically London. This is a tactic that unfortunately terrorists are utilizing. It is very difficult to stop or disrupt. There's very little intelligence to preempt something like this. And what is worrying is that it keeps being used by terrorists that may not have traveled abroad, but they're getting inspiration online. And it makes the job all that much harder. The British authorities and the Metropolitan Police especially did everything possible to contain and minimize this, and they really must be congratulated for this incident not being bigger than it potentially could have been. But I'm afraid we are going to have to accept the reality that incidents like this are becoming like the new normal. It's becoming harder to stop, even though there may be greater will for cooperation.
Steve Moore, do you agree with that, that this attack was almost inevitable, that this is the new normal?
This is a new normal. We've made air travel so secure that it's now prohibitively risky for Al-Qaeda or ISIS to attack airliners, so they're going to the next easiest target. And frankly, the world has to change. You can't anymore say that because we have strict gun laws, the police shouldn't have gun laws, because you don't have strict knife laws. You don't have ways to stop police or vehicles. And the Metropolitan Police, by the way, are phenomenal at this. They've come up with this plan called way to fight marauding attacks. And marauding attacks are these type of things where the first incident is not going to be the last incident. And you're going to hear a lot about marauding attacks in the future, and you've got to be willing to assault them with deadly force when it happens.
Oh, this is the problem, though, isn't it? That there could be copycat attacks. Perhaps this attack in London was actually a copy of what we saw in Nice, what we saw in Berlin as well. How do the police actually stop this? Because everyone potentially can have a vehicle and everyone can drive around London, and our Parliament here in London happens to be right at the very centre of the city, and it is very accessible to the public, as it should be. It is a Parliament of the people, for the people.
Right, but you obviously know that on Westminster Bridge there's probably a 6-inch curb that separates the pedestrian traffic from the traffic lanes. That's going to change. You're going to have steel fencing there soon. These are the things that are going to change, and in areas where you have high target possibilities, large numbers of people, you are going to have to change your world, unfortunately. Just like 20 years ago, you could get on an airliner a lot easier than you can now. You're not going to be able to move through the city in the same way, in any city, the way you used to.
Right. Carlton King, I wonder if I can bring you back in to talk about Scotland Yard as well. They understand that they know who the assailant is, his identity. They haven't yet revealed that to us. Does it suggest, though, to you that this man had perhaps been monitored or been under some sort of surveillance for some time?
Yeah, Hannah, the situation is that the Met and the security service MI5 are probably one of the best in the world at surveilling and observing individuals who are involved or potentially involved in terrorism. The problem is the numbers of individuals who are potentially involved. So that's the first thing. And the capacity to stop attacks before they take place, i.e. to disrupt them, is excellent. However, one attack is going to get through. So where we've got a great capacity with surveillance cameras, we've got great capacity with automatic number plate readers and a whole host of technology, when it comes down to it, in the final moments, you have to deal, as the gentleman said before, with the issue of the actual attack. And that's, fire has got to be met with fire. Now, before that, one of the main things that has to take place is we have to make sure that there is no splitting of any part of society in the United Kingdom. You cannot have people taking into their own hands some activity against Islamic individuals or persons of that faith, because that is what the terrorist is looking for. As for the investigation now, this is another area where the Met is amongst the best in the world. They will investigate this calmly and with great professionalism. About that, there is no doubt. And I would imagine that the individual,
no doubt about that,
is known about already.
Carlton King, we do have to leave it there, but as you say, we know that the Metropolitan Police will be investigating this with a huge amount of integrity and delicacy as well, especially given the fact that they have lost one of their own officers in this tragedy. My thanks to all of my guests, Carlton King, Sajjan Gohel and Steve Moore. Gentlemen, thank you very much indeed.